Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. Today we are going to be having a look at the exceptional story for February, Borrowed Glory. It's got tigers in it again, but let me first do my little thing where I tell you if you want to play this for yourself, please go do it before you watch this video. It's going to be full of spoilers. Obviously you need to be an exceptional friend, which helps support Failbetter, gives you extra actions, bigger deck, all those wonderful things that if you're a player of Fallen London, you will enjoy fully. Obviously. But without further ado, let's click on this. He is in your dreams, a tiger of impressive dimensions, golden fur bloodied by the light of the chandeliers. Come on, the guests need you. Around him, a swirl of long-boned bodies, no face on any of them, but they dance nonetheless, gowned in crystal and yards of sickly green velvet. Something is wrong here. The walls, the floor, the guests. There's a half-made quality to the opulence, like the abandoned work of an omnipotent child. We've got three options here. We can retreat, even in dreams. Maybe it is unwise to keep the company of predators. We can lead the guests in a dance. Dance like a tiger is watching. Or we can ask the tiger to a waltz. If he is dancing with you, he cannot devour you. That is a logical an obvious choice. You extend a hand to the tiger, and he stretches a paw in mimicry, both of you bowing low, the effect only slightly tarnished by his mocking grin. When you rise, there is music, sweet, resinous, drowning. You dance with him as best as you're able, given the complications the combination of your particular anatomies presents. The crowd applauds wildly at peculiar intervals until at last you wake up, drenched with sweat. What a strange dream. Now we can unlock the exceptional story at the Seasons of Animals. Unlocked Borrowed Glory. If that's the same tiger, he looked better in the dream. Wretched sleep. You lie in your bed, tangled in your linens, unable to sleep. Now, if that's not something I can relate to. You stutter in and out of consciousness so much that the world discolours, becoming the amber of a cat's eye. Is that sleep coming? The amber deepens to shadow, and the honey dark eats you whole. You open your eyes to a vaulted hall, its ceiling covered in unfinished murals. There are tapestries on each wall, bright banners of ochre and saffron, and the warm yellow of densely salted yolks. There are bodies here with you, dream creatures, abnormally proportioned and sumptuously gowned, their features reminiscent of a potter's first experiments, a suggestion of sockets, divots where mouths might sit. Like human, but not yet. Not quite. Marionettes, but they fit here, in coloration and conduct. This is a dream, after all. We have fallen into the tiger's dream. A tiger calls you to the saffron court. The prince, the prince, the prince, repeats his court. A serration of bobbing figures and sibilant voices. The prince, he calls! With each syllable, the marionettes transform, twisting into Paleolithic horrors. Big cats as imagined by a child and then forgotten partway through Genesis. But the rapturous prince, a tiger brightly crowned with silver, is exquisite, awe-inspiring, awful to behold, enormous to the point of caricature. Fortunately, he seems distracted. We have two options here. We can either watch the rapturous prince, stay out of sight, tigers are always hungry, or we can present ourselves to the rapturous prince. You are summoned. You should answer. That is the logical one, but let's watch. Let's see if we can work out what's going on. The rapturous prince paces through the horde of transformed marionettes, pausing occasionally to inform one or another figure that they are imperfect. No, no. He had more presents, says the rapturous prince to one. He had more red in his fur, he says to another. Not good enough yet, not good enough at all. When he speaks, they correct themselves, flesh seemingly as protean as clay. Whenever the prince turns away, the courtiers exchange looks, nervous, usually afraid. At the window, a figure shows itself outside, a courtly-looking tiger, expression inscrutable, eyes worried. It turns to regard you, surprised, and as it does, you wake in your lodgings. Oh. Okay, that may have been the wrong choice. Let's go again. You lie in your bed, tangled in your linens, unable to sleep. You stutter in and out of consciousness so much that the world discolors, becoming the amber of cat's eye. Is that sleep coming? It's the same dream again. An amber luster follows your descent to sleep. You are in a dream, and as dreams often are, it looks half familiar. You stand under a vaulted ceiling surrounded by bipedal shapes. Noticing you, the marionettes bow in turn, one after another, bewigged in an anarchism of dated styles, their movements erratic, sometimes supple, other times like the hands of a malfunctioning clock. Two glide forward to move you deeper into their court, past the windows poking the apricot walls. Through the glass, you see a different world, a gold-green, vegetal nightmare. Well, that's the same as before, so I guess this time we will present ourselves. You are summoned, you should answer. Your willingness to address him delights the rapturous prince. He stalks a full orbit around your person before finally, in a thunderous voice, announces, "They're not right." His court shrinks from the rebuke. Not perfect yet, not real enough, nowhere near as entertaining as they could be. And I like entertainment, you understand. You're alive, aren't you? Teach them to be like you. The tiger requested that you teach his dream subjects to be more human, more like you. Okay. I'm guessing if I watch, it's going to kick me back out again, so let's complete the prince's request. The prince asks you to teach the marionettes in his court to act more lifelike. You begin with the easy things. Bowing, nodding, shaking hands. But the marionettes seemed flummoxed by these basic necessities. At times, they ignore you. At others, they writhe into strange mineral formations, flowing together, taking on pulsing shapes. But slowly, they learn to bow, to nod, to shake hands, and smile. The prince is impressed with your progress. "I could use someone like you," he growls, and his courtiers tremble. "I would wear your friendship like a skin. But before that, find me a memory, a particular memory of luminescence from the surface, splendid and incomparable. Bring it here." And at that, the dream breaks, and you wake in your lodgings once more. So now we have a tiger's task. You're in London once more, awake. Your bedclothes are drenched in sweat. A vision of a tiger and his marionette court lingers in your mind. You were given an assignment to complete. Perhaps it's worth doing. A tiger's favour is invaluable. But then again, is it worth being bullied by something from a dream? I think I'm going to do what he asks, so let's find the light that the rapturous prince asked for. He asked that you find him a memory of surface light. A painting from there should fit this requirement well. How do you take a painting into a dream? You stare at the canvas, memorizing each brushstroke, each sweep and splash of brilliant colour. You stare at the painting so long, it begins developing a taste in your mouth, a pang. Of youth wasted, woes become cancerous, of romances long since worn down to a scant memory. Let's return to the dream. An amber luster follows your descent to sleep. Let's fulfill the prince's request for light. The rapturous prince will come to claim his gift. The ceiling morphs, becoming marbled with patterns in shades of peach and jaundiced muscle. The court in attendance is more bestial in configuration. They resemble tigers now, instead of bipedal marionettes. "Perfect," says the prince. "You've given me so much to play with. I will have the sky wear this, and the chandeliers and the guests. Oh, I am so pleased. I think you will delight me just as much in London too." You wake before he can say more. The tiger has intimated that he will visit you in London. How is he going to do that? The prince from your dreams. Is it the smell that you notice first? A thick musk, perfumed, but superbly animal. Then, the shadows at your windows, through the crack beneath your door. You peek out of the window to find a massive feline shape outside. Actually, there are two. Is it the prince? And has he brought company? We have two options here. We can receive the prince and his entourage. He's at your door and showing no signs of leaving anytime soon. Or we could slide a note under the door. Go away. Let's receive the prince. "Your lodgings are so quaint," says the rapturous prince. He drips disdain over your carpet. "I couldn't imagine living somewhere like this." "Oh, no. But you could, couldn't you?" says the rapturous prince to the love-sickened Sneshel. Like him, his companion is a tiger. Unlike him, his companion is small. His shrunken belly is recessed, the muscles wasted into bone. The love-sickened seneschal shrugs at the question. "My seneschal is such a stupid creature now. I remember when he wasn't so useless," sighs the prince. "But oh well, I've made the best use of him I can. May help him finish his chores for me, and maybe I won't eat you." That's not the best way to get somebody to help you. A small, gaunt example of a tiger, with drooping whiskers, a dull coat, and a towering hat that sits at a miserable angle. The rapturous prince told you to help Schneesel with his chores, but before that it might be wise to learn more about this pathetic example of a tiger. You'll have to get him to open up to you, but how? So we can charm the love-sickened Sneeshel. When in doubt, be charming. Or we can intimidate him. Well, I think charming gets you everywhere, so let's charm him. You ply the love-sickened Schneeshel with compliments, with flattering observations, with ostensibly sincere interest in his person. It takes effort, but he stirs at your words, at last shedding some of his gloom to chuff at you. A shy, charming noise completely at odds with the fact he's a predatory cat. He looks prepared to talk to you now. So, who is he exactly? Easiest to get the obvious question out of the way. "A fool," announces the love-sickened Schneesel in a low, sweet voice. "A fool who should have known better. I am my prince's right paw nonetheless. Even if he hasn't amputated that paw for his amusement, I am his until the end, sworn to duty, a royal servant." So, what exactly does the prince want? Surely a reasonable question, given the circumstances. "To feed," declares the love-sickened Schneesel, his tone a marriage of disgust and grudging awe. "To consume that which is beautiful. He wants to imbibe all that is good of the people who are not him, because he lacks so much himself. What does any prince want?" A sneer creeps down his face. "To be loved." Okay, so what was the lovesick Schneesel supposed to do? The prince demanded you assist with the errands. The prince plans to have a party, a big gala where all of London's brightest can come together. At this, his expression thins to something cold and as flat as of a killer's knife. He wants their worship, and he wants to know them, to truly know them, inside and out, until he can wear their skin and inhabit their life, and all that was in them. A shrug. Not in a literal sense, at least. He has a way of carving the good from a person and taking it into himself. But that's not what you asked. My job is to get all those bright people there. And I have managed to get almost all of them to promise to come. There's one more. I wonder who this could be. So there's one person left, and the prince, the Sneschel confides, shame-faced, will not forgive me if he does not come. I've tried several times to convince Verducci to attend my lord's party, but he ignores my missives, returns them perforated by a very sharp letter openers. What scant light twitches within the love-sickened Sneschel gaze begins to dim as he speaks, regret husking the music from his voice. But he has to come. The prince desires the will that returns Verducci to the battlefield over and over again. I will owe you if you help me. I don't have much left, but I will owe you, and I will give you whatever there remains of me. The Sneschel pauses and amends his statement. Whatever the prince does not want, at least. Do we have to persuade the former mayor of London to come to the party? Now, Verducci's a wonderful fellow. He has the Black Ribbon Club, and he's very much into his fighting. And he's very good at it. But this could be very interesting. You find Verducci presiding over a series of bouts. See? Fighting. The fighting ring is all but frayed from past scuffles, its edges smeared by boots, palm prints, bodies scrambling through the dirt. But the audience is still energetic, and Verducci remains elegant on his perch. So let's speak to him. The love-sickened Sneschel digs his head into a small of your back, clearly nervous, unwilling to approach Verducci himself. Before you can speak, before you can do so much as free the rapturous prince's invitation, Verducci has shaken his head, a palm lifted. Look, these people have come for one of two reasons, to fight in the duels or to stand witness. Verducci flattens his hand, sweeps an arm outward, encompassing the crowd. I won't insult them by wasting their time. So you will fight. He husks his voice, the dusty timbre of his voice gilded abruptly with the unexpected richness. Verducci slants a look at his crowd, his expression fond. He loves them and their hunger for battle, for glory, for the joy of both. Or you will go. So, either me or the Sneschel must fight. It's probably going to be me, let's be honest. If this is what Verducci demands, this is what he will receive, a duel worthy of his jaded audience. To first blood and nothing more, he tells the crowd, no emotion in his voice. An unusual requirement for victory, it would seem, judging from the roar that billows from those gathered. So, I think we should do it, definitely. It seems very unfair to encourage the poor tiger to do it himself. Fortune favours the bold, and occasionally the excessively reckless. This is Verducci who stands as your opponent. Rumour doesn't even come close to the truth of the kills he has made. We have a 100% chance of success. I'm quite a dangerous lady. It is rare for Verducci to make a spectacle of his own fights. Perhaps it is the public nature of your invitation, the anticipation of the crowd, a conflagration of meteorological coincidences, or some alchemy known only to Verducci. But something prompts him to agree. To frenzied applause he straightens, unsheaths a sabre. The roar of the crowd becomes thunderous. This is not a weapon he is often seen with, and the audience treats the sight of it like a blessing. He levels the tip at the plunge of your throat, where the soft flesh meets the start of your ribs. so beckoned, you follow in kind. Not to the death, but to a single blow or solitary cut. First blood. It will not be easy at all. So we do have three options here. We can use brute strength. All conflict is about power, something you possess in abundance. Yes, we do. Or we can use cunning. The leader of the Black Ribbon is an unparalleled combatant, but he is not immune to trickery. Employ your cunning. Or, when in doubt, you can cheat. No one said you couldn't take the easy way out. Let's use brute strength. I have the option, so I may as well. You come hard at Verducci, barreling down upon him. Unafraid, unable to be afraid. Not after all the things you've seen and done and killed. The ferocity of your assault seems to startle Verducci, and he is on the defensive almost from the beginning. It is a quick, ugly fight. You slice Verducci's cheek with your blade, and he seems to sigh, almost disappointed. First blood, he tells the crowd, and applause rises like a wolf's howl. To you, in a lower voice he says, we must do this again. So we need to ask him if he will accept the invitation. He demanded a fight, and you gave him what he asked for. Now it's his turn. Yes, says Verducci, voice a whisper, a grave rasp. A crypt startles from its shroud of dust. He does not open the envelope, only slides it into a pocket. You adhere to the letter of the law of this place. I will attend your gala. You earned this. You leave the fighting ring to the sound of applause. A tiger, massive, lustrous, terrifying, intercepts the two of you en route home to your lodgings. He pads out of an alley, growling low. I need to speak to you, alone, without that broken thing at your side. The love-sickened Schneschel shrugs, indifferent to his dismissal, and melts into the murk of London, a wasted shadow. It is to do with the prince, says the oblique courtier. He needs to be stopped. Let's ask what he's talking about. You need more information before you can make decisions here. We cats have a duty. We guard the borders of dream. But this prince, unsatisfied with his lot, he is the youngest, you understand, wanted more. He bargained with those he should not have, for the ability to make a realm of his own in Parabola. He fills it with dreams as if they were a toy chest. The oblique courtier rumbles a nose deep in the caverns of his chest. But even that is not what troubles the waking courts. We understand darkness and want. A villain that can be respected, guided, but not an embarrassment. The prince bartered a deal allowing him to steal traits from another. What kind of cat would lower themselves like that? To deal with those creatures, instead of simply striving. His appetite will never diminish. He will continue to take until there's nothing left. The prince needs to be stopped. I am tempted to agree with this cat. We have two options. We can agree to help the courtier. The prince should not be permitted to act on his desires, or we can refuse to help. You will not trifle with the prince. Heroes, after all, die with excruciating frequency. I think we will agree to help. I don't like this prince creature. He threatened to eat me. His voice, hushed and silvered with dread, deepens with warning. If he bids you to enter Parabola with him, use this tincture on whatever he tries to take next. His process is precise, subtle. This will contaminate it. Such a flaw will draw the attention of what remains of his former victims. I am certain that they will do the rest. You pocket what you are given. The tiger departs then, and when he does, the love-sickened Schnitzl returns, an invitation in his teeth. You should come along, please. Here you are then. At last, an invitation in hand. After all that work, you might as well see what the rapturous prince has spent so much time organising. His choice of location is suspect, however. The party takes place in the belly of Puppeteer's burnt-down shop. his marionettes still overhead, a swaying firmament of blackened corpse things leering down at the guests. The horror is contrasted by the effort that went into the decorations. The gala is spangled with crystal, christened with silver, so spectacularly appointed it would make royalty weep. So we can mingle with the guests. Small talk is always acceptable. You drift between the guests, clotting the room. Some of them are at their tables, nervously prodding at their cooling meals, while others congregate in corners. But all of them share one thing, a vivid uncertainty of the events unfolding around them. Many of the guests are strangers to each other, visibly disinclined towards flippant conversation, but a few are familiar to you. The love-sickened Schnischel passes through the group, expression haunted. We can make yourself known to Verducci. He's here as promised, and beautifully dressed in a lavish frock coat. We can converse with Virginia. Her mayoral appointment has only added shine to her polish. She notes your attention and smiles. We can check on the regretful soldier. He is in a corner, asleep amid a bacchanal of empty bottles. Well, let's make ourselves known to Verducci. Every person here is singular and entirely unlike everyone else invited, confides Verducci. The light seems to love his coat. It gleams along the creamy fabric, catching on discreet mercury embroidery, which darkens to pewter depending on how Verducci moves. I wonder why. The prince will not tell us, but I suspect we will find out soon enough. The bandages over his mouth creep and curl. He is smiling. The knowledge may prove hazardous to our health, but what's life without a little risk? Converse with Virginia. I do love Virginia. I've never attended anything like this, says Virginia, extracting a tea bag from a tiny ceramic cup and sipping its contents. You'd think that tigers would want something more primal, but I'm hardly a tiger. I won't make assumptions from their cultural norms. Her gaze makes a circuit of the room, its finery and its ruin. Still, it is a little strange. We can check on the regretful soldier. What? The regretful soldier startles and clambers onto his feet, wide-eyed, hand jolting to a sword long since retired from its sheath. Oh, it wasn't a dream. Damn again, I'm actually here. And that thing is actually here. He points a quivering finger at Verducci. Someone bring me another drink. I haven't had enough to rot this memory of mine. I wonder what the story is there. I haven't had much to deal with the regretful soldier, but I'm guessing he doesn't like Verducci very much. Let's return to the rest of the celebration. You've had enough of small conversation. Let's investigate the kitchen. No harm in knowing how the food is prepared, and more importantly, what is being prepared. Unlike the main area, the kitchen is remarkably banal. Clean, competently equipped, filled with chefs and sous chefs, assistants and waiters, none of whom look as though they've been coerced into ill-paid service or told to work with ethically questionable ingredients. What's peculiar is the fact that there is a kitchen here. It is unlikely that this was part of the marionette shop's original design. The interior looks like someone had stolen chunks from other kitchens and attached them to charred walls. While you investigate, one of the waiters comes up to you, smiling, politely ushers you back to the main area. And I guess, before I dine with the prince, I'm gonna have to end the first episode here. I am loving this so far. There's an awful lot of tigers. And the parabola, I love the parabola. That's the interesting realm of the devils, I believe. Is the devil's parabola? No, I'm sure somebody in the comments will know. But thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you next time.